Hey everyone, welcome to another ranking. Here's my ranking of every single James Bond movie, with the exception of the Casino Royale comedy film with Woody Allen. I'm not including that, but I am including Never Say Never Again, the unofficial final Sean Connery one. That's not technically a Bond film, but I'm including it because it kind of is a Bond film, but it's complicated. Including that, and of course the new No Time to Die. To celebrate the new Bond film, I thought I'd do a ranking of all, well, I guess 26 of them. There's 25, but there's 26, including Never Say Never Again. So here's my ranking of all of them, in my opinion. Again, this is just my opinion, not a factual ranking, but a subjective one. And I'm going to try to go through these two really quickly. I don't want to take forever to talk about these movies because some of them, a lot of these Bond films are just so silly and just kind of stupid, and they're not films I watch a lot. I used to watch a lot of Bond films as a kid because I always thought they were cool, but as a grown adult, there's just so many of them I don't watch. Like I don't need to watch ever again. So my memory on them are a little, little minimal. So yeah, bear with me. Here we go. Here's the ranking of all the Bond films from least favorite to my favorite. Coming at number 26 is 1985's View to a Kill. A View to a Kill is the last Roger Moore Bond film and the shittiest. It's got terrible villain, terrible effects, terrible action sequences, and some of the worst editing in any Bond film. The only thing good is the Duran Duran opening theme. Other than that, the movie sucks ass. So, yeah. Number 25 is 2015 Spectre. Spectre is a film that actually quite a few people enjoy. I am not one of them. I find it is easily the most boring Bond film ever made. And that's a deal breaker. I'd rather take a shitty, cheesy Bond film with some entertainment than a boring one, especially a long, boring Bond film. The reason it's a little better than A View to a Kill is just some cheesiness I love. Some of it just gets a little ridiculous. A View to a Kill is a little too ridiculous, but I can just appreciate some filming aspects of Spectre, but Spectre still just, it's ungodly awful, so I just can't stand it. Number 24 is 1983's Octopussy. The movie before A View to a Kill. I'm not a huge Roger Moore Bond fan. I like him in some, but this is another one that's it's almost like A View to a Kill, just bad editing, silly action, but some of the one-liners are just so dumb, it's almost on that borderline, it's so bad it's good. Octopussy, and the title alone is just funny. Like, Octopussy, like, you can never make a movie with that title ever again. Octopussy. It gets me snickered just thinking about it, but it's a bad movie. It's a really bad film, but it's kind of like that so bad, it's kind of funny. So yeah. Number 23 is Die Another Day, 2002. This is another one just like Octopussy. It's so bad and so stupid. It's kind of funny. This is the final Pierce Brosnan one where Halle Berry, Rosamund Pike, and I forget the actor who plays the villain. This is the most silliest Bond film. The gadgets make no sense. The fencing fight is the most stupidest fencing fight I've ever seen. Halle Berry is a really terrible Bond girl. Pierce Brosnan is, I can tell he's having a lot of fun with the role, and just the sheer mechanics and just the continuity in this movie, and just nothing makes sense in this movie. And honestly, it's kind of hilarious. It's just so stupid. It's pretty funny. So yeah, it's got that. It's got that going for it. Number 22 is 1979's Moonraker. Probably a lot of people's ultimate guilty pleasure Bond film. It's not quite mine. Yes, Jaws is in it. So, like, that's great. It's Jaws. Yeah. And it's James Bond in space. Something Fast and the Furious will be doing. Don't worry. Moonraker has some funny lines. Roger Moore is just milking the role, and Jaws is always great to see because it's Jaws, but it's the suspension of disbelief. Just, I can't handle it. Just like, I know you're supposed to suspend your disbelief. It's Bond in space. Doesn't make sense, but some of it just like, just I can't turn my brain off in some elements of the film. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. That's stupid. That's dumb. Why is he doing that? Just, it's so bad, this movie. But a lot of people love it, and I actually can understand why. I get it. Again, though, it's just not a movie for me. So yeah. Number 21, Quantum of Solace, 2008. Quantum of Solace, I was so pumped for. This is the second Daniel Craig Bond film, and I loved Casino Royale so much. Yeah, you'll see how much I love Casino Royale. So Quantum of Solace, I'm like, oh, this movie could be so good. It wasn't though. It was really lame and dull and just a shitty villain and just a shitty Bond girl of Olga Karlinki, is her name is. She's terrible. It has a cool opening chase sequence with the cars, and it has a decent Alicia Keys opening song. Other than that, the movie sucks. it just I barely could even follow what the fuck was happening. And I thought it was supposed to be just a straight continuation of Casino Royale and what happened to Eva Green's character. But that it comes just back at the very ending of this movie. And the payoff is just not that great. Like, I thought, like, we'd get something interesting or, like, a big twist or something. But no, he just kind of finds the guy. He doesn't kill him and just says, bye. I'm like, wow. You spend an hour and 45 minutes to build this thing, this payoff, that sucks. It's like watching a porno with no money shot. Like, come on now. Still, Quantum of Solace has its moments, but it's not good. It's not a good movie. Number 20, Never Say Never Again, 1983. This movie came out the same year as Octopussy. It's not good, but I enjoy it. It's not good, though. This is another one. This is directed by Irvin Kershner, who did Empire Strikes Back. And I love Connery in this movie. He's great. Like, the thing about Connery, he's great in every Bond film. Even some of the kind of lesser great ones, he's still good. He's good. He's personally like one of my favorite Bonds. Connery and Dalton are my two favorite Bonds. Like, they're my favorites. Like, you got the suave, charismatic one, and you got like the dark and brooding one. That's why they're my favorite Bonds. And I love Connery in this movie. The story makes no sense. The supporting cast is pretty terrible. The villain isn't very good. But there's a lot of nostalgia in it, and it has a solid performance by Connery. So I still enjoy it, but I'm very well aware it's not a great movie. So number 19, Live and Let Die, 1973. Live and Let Die. Mostly people remember it for the song Live and Let Die. But this is Roger Moore. And Roger Moore is good in this movie. I like his relationship in this movie. It has a very good Bond girl. It has great action sequences, especially one that involves water. I think y'all know what I'm talking about. It's a really good movie. Yeah, it definitely falls under some of those like forgettable Bond films. You're like, oh yeah, that one. I find Live and Let Die falls in those categories. A lot of these Bond movies I'm gonna be talking about now, all the way until like my number, I guess, 11 or 10. A lot of these Bond films just fall under the forgettable. Like, they're fun and enjoyable, but forgettable. All right, number 18 is Tomorrow Never Dies, 1997, Pierce Brosnan. This, again, has some great sequences. The motorcycle chase sequence is great. Pierce Brosnan is really enjoyable in this film. There's some good tension, good stakes, but it's very cheesy. It's very silly. Again, the plot makes no fucking sense. There's like a lot of mechanics also in this movie that don't make sense. I don't know. This is the one like I always never watched the most out of the Pierce Brosnan ones. I always watched GoldenEye and The World Is Not Enough the most. Those were like my favorite Pierce Brosnan ones. This one I always for some reason skipped. Like, I never watched a lot of it, and some people it's like their favorite Pierce Brosnan one, and that's cool. It's just not mine. Number 17, The Man with the Golden Gun, 1974. I have a soft spot for this one, and I know it's a very panned movie, but I love Christopher Lee in this movie. I think he's great in this film. I love him as his villain. One of my favorite villains. He's great in this movie. And I like Roger Moore in the movie. And again, it's got some of the most silliest, ridiculous one-liners ever. And it's kind of hilarious. Again, this also falls under like kind of like that. It's so bad, it's kind of good. But it's a little bit more. Like I even said like almost like Die Another Day is kind of like so stupid. It's kind of fun to watch. This one's a lot more because it's a lot more sillier, a lot more cheesier, and kind of makes it great to watch. It's still not a good movie, but you know, I have a soft spot for it. Number 16 is The World Is Not Enough, 1999. This is another one just so silly, so ridiculous. It has Denise Richards as a scientist. Like, Pierce Brosnan's great. This movie is just, it is probably, this and Die Another Day are probably the most over the top Pierce Brosnan Bond films, and they're very funny to watch. World's Not Enough is the one I have the most nostalgia for. I think I watched this Pierce Brosnan Bond film the most out of all of them because I loved it as a kid. I thought it was so great. I popped in that VHS all the fucking time. Like, yeah, this movie's great. Plus, I had the hots for Denise Richards, so not a good movie, but I have nostalgia for it. Number 17, 16 was World Is Not Enough. Sorry. 15 is Diamonds Are Forever, 1971. This is another, like, one of the official Sean Connery ones. Definitely one of the weaker ones. The twist is pretty stupid, but Sean Connery's still great. Like, again, Sean Connery is great in every Bond film. And Diamonds Are Forever has good set pieces and good action sequences. And very fun one-liners by Sean Connery, but it has a lame twist, pretty stupid ending, and the Bond girl is not as great, but still, I enjoy it. Number 14 is this year's No Time to Die. No Time to Die. Did a whole review of this movie, so just go watch my review. So, I don't have to talk about it. Number 13 is For Your Eyes Only, 1981. Interesting film. Again, more Roger Moore, and he does a good job in this film. I like the, again, action. I liked how suave and, like, cool he was in this film, and definitely out of Roger Moore's, this is definitely one of my favorite ones. Wait, all right, I'm losing my space here. Number 12, The Spy Who Loved Me, 1977. Very good film. Great Bond girl, great performance, great action, and if it was just if there wasn't as much James Bond films, this would definitely be in my top 10. But there's just too many. Number 11, Thunderball, 1965, Sean Connery. This is where he's almost at his most badass. He's fucking awesome in this movie. He's brutal. He's got some pretty gritty moments for a 60s action film. Great Bond girl, great villain, great action. Top 10 now. You Only Live Twice, 1967. Again, some more Sean Connery. He's great in this movie. Great villain, great action. I say that a lot about a lot of Bond films. Great villain, great action, great Bond. The reason I say that is because a lot of Bond films are the same. Like, they feel the same. Just different lines, different plot points, but a lot of them feel the same. And some of them do it great, some of them just don't do it great. So, here we go. Number 9, The Living Daylights, 1987. This is the introduction to my favorite Bond, and that is Timothy Dalton. I love Timothy Dalton's Bond. He is like the Batman of Bonds. The opening is fantastic. The story is good in this movie. I would have put it in my top 5 if it wasn't for its kind of underwhelming final act. I thought the action wasn't as good, and the payoff wasn't as good, but still, I love The Living Daylights, and I think it's one of the most underrated Bond films ever made. Number 8, Dr. No, 1962. 1962, this is the introduction to James Bond. And Dr. No, classic villain, classic Bond girl. This introduced us to the amazing Sean Connery with his kick-ass one-liners and his kick-ass vehicles and his kick-ass gadgets. Dr. No is a classic. I love it. Number 7, Skyfall, 2012. Never talked about this on this channel because I didn't start this YouTube channel until 2015, so I never got to talk about Skyfall as much. Skyfall is a great movie. This one is directed by Sam Mendes, who just absolute shit the bed with Spectre, but he did a great job with Skyfall. The cinematography is probably the most beautifully shot James Bond film out of all the James Bond movies. I love James Bond. I love the Adele Skyfall song. It's really good. And I love Javier Bardem as the villain. I love Naomi Harris as Moneypenny. She's great. The ending to Judy... I was about to say Judy Greer. Judi Dench is what I meant to say. Judi Dench, her ending as M is really tragic and sad, and the action is so good, and it's a 2 hour and 20-minute film, and it just flies by. It's a beautiful movie, and I love how the ending feels like a Home Alone movie. It's really good. And you actually get to more. This is actually like one of the few Bond films you actually get to know James Bond's backstory, and I really like that actually. Number 6, From Russia with Love, 1963. Great, the second Bond film, and it's better than Doctor No. Better action scenes. The train sequence is awesome. Connery's again is clever and badass. One of my favorite Bond girls in this movie too. Just really solid flick. Number 5, Goldfinger, 1964. Goldfinger. We got Connery at his most best in this movie. He's awesome. We got the best Bond girl, or one of the best Bond girls ever with the best name, Pussy Galore. I love it. We got two of the best villains ever almost. You got Goldfinger and Oddjob, who are just amazing in this movie. I love them in this movie. I love that he's a villain that kills women and paints them gold naked. It's just so crazy, and I love it. The opening is one of my favorite Bond openings. I love this movie. Like everything about this movie, it's so James Bond, and I love it. Number 4, GoldenEye, 1995. GoldenEye is so good. I always thought Pierce Brosnan would have been one of the best Bonds because GoldenEye is just such a fucking good movie, but no. His performance even gets like shittier as his movies keep going and stuff. They almost become comical. But GoldenEye is great. I love the story of GoldenEye. The twist is got one of the best twists in Bond. I love Sean Bean as 006. He's great. I love Famke Jensen. She is a great femme fatale. How she like squeezes dudes with her legs, and she's great and crazy. I love Alan Cumming. I'm invincible. I love him. This is just a fun movie. This is probably one of the most fun Bond films. That's why I love it so much. It's a blast to watch. And even if you're not a Bond fan, you can watch GoldenEye and just have a fucking blast watching it. Definitely the most entertaining James Bond film. Number 3, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, 1969. I love this movie. I think this movie takes risks. I love that this movie has one of the most deepest and tragic endings to any Bond film. I thought George Lazenby was a good Bond. I don't think he's the best, but I think he did a good job. He was like a great one-and-done kind of guy. He was really good. I love the action sequences when they're like skiing on the mountaintops and stuff. I love the cinematography, and I love the landscapes of this movie. I love its story, and I love how pure it is. And I love that it doesn't feel like a Bond film. And I don't know, it always sticks with me. It always brings up these emotions too. It's a great film. Number 2 is License to Kill, 1989. This is one of my favorite Bond films. It is the only like dark, gritty, violent Bond film, and I love it. Dalton is incredible in this film. He gives one of my favorite performances out of any Bond in this film. Villain is kick-ass. Great Bond girl. The ending is just... The story is just so high-staked. The score is fantastic. And the action is one of the most brutal action scenes in any Bond film. It's just amazing. As an action lover, I fucking love it. But as a Bond fan, I fucking love License to Kill. And it almost made my number 1. But my number 1 is Casino Royale 2006. This is most people's favorite, so it's so cliche to me to say that. But I love it. It's a great film. It's got the best story. Daniel Craig is very good in this movie, too. I think this is one of his best performances in general. Just in his filmography, Casino Royale is one of his best performances. And I don't think he's the best Bond, but I like him in this movie. And I love this story. Casino Royale is my favorite stories. It's one of my favorite stories. I love that the first act is like an action spy espionage movie. Then the second act is just a poker movie. And then the third act is like this tragic romance story. I love that each act has its own genres. And it has Le Chiffre, Mads Mikkelsen, one of my favorite Bond villains. Le Chiffre and Goldfinger are my 2 favorite Bond villains. I love these villains. It has one of the most brutal torture scenes ever in a Bond film. It revolves something smashing James Bond's testicles. It's fucking crazy. I love the high stakes poker game. It's great. I love poker, so like that whole poker sequence in the casino is great. I love the scene where he gets poisoned. It's fantastic. Eva Green is the best Bond girl in any Bond film. She's fantastic. Eva Green, this is her best performance. She's the only Bond girl that actually, other than on Her Majesty's Secret Service, she actually got James Bond to like quit and like be with her and stuff. But wow, that ending. The ending to Casino Royale always fucking hits me. Like, wow. I'm like, man, I haven't felt like this since On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Like, wow. Great fucking movie. It's an amazing action movie, great thriller, a beautiful romance story, and it's the best story out of all the Bond films, and that's why it's my number one. So yeah, that was my ranking of all 26 Bond films, in my opinion. So in the comments section below, please tell me what is your ranking every single Bond film in your opinion. Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and join the dark side.